This 2020 Nissan Leaf provides great features, functionality, and very low cost of maintenance until you have to replace the battery. And it's in a beautiful red color. Let's take a look inside. All right, this particular Nissan Leaf is the SL Plus, which is the top of the line trim. So you have leather appointed seats and different features that I'll show you when we get to the inside. I can't show the trunk due to private belongings being in there from the owner, but it is a hatchback. It has a cargo cover if you look into the back window here. But I will show you, as we go into the back seat, you have your nice leather appointed seats. You have some USBs right here. This being an electric car, there's no tachometer, so I can't give you a rev test. But this is how you shift it. Pull down for drive, up for reverse. This has a function called e-pedal, which I will show you in a few minutes. AC, it does have Bluetooth, navigation. You can also turn on your camera from the push of a button. You have a top-down view, as well as just a regular backup camera. Steering wheel, this does have adaptive cruise control, which I will show you when we get onto the road. Buttons here. Only one of the windows, the driver's side, rolls down with one touch. Under the hood, we have an electric motor that produces 214 horsepower and 250 pound-feet of torque that produces 236 miles of range. The base model Leaf has these specs that I'll have on screen. This one has more power, more torque, and more range. Pretty good trade-off. When the car is off and you have the key in your hand, press the button on the key. It'll open up your charge port. That is your plug. And then close it right back up and get another 250 miles of range. The button to open the fuel door is right there. All right, and we begin our driving portion of the 2020 Nissan Leaf. Down here you have the e-pedal control. I'm going to explain how that works right now. So it's so that you can drive with one foot. And you can't see my foot, but you'll just have to take my word for it. You don't really have to use the brake. The way that it works is you let off the gas. So right now we're coming up to this stoplight here, and I am not touching the brake. The car is doing all the slowing down. Now I'm completely off the gas, and it's not going to like slam, but you have the option to use the brake if you needed to make an emergency stop or something when you're in e-pedal mode. So now we're sitting at the stoplight. I'm not touching anything. So I personally love that feature. The owner of this car does not like it, but some people like it, some people don't. We also have the eco button. When that is pushed, it dramatically reduces the response time of the throttle. It's for a more relaxed drive. This is very, very touchy. There's no delay between when you push the throttle. I mean, it moves because it doesn't have to wait for downshifts or fuel injection or anything like that. It's just an electric motor to the wheels, and it has impeccable response time. At least coming from me, because I drive a lot of gasoline vehicles, and they don't. I mean, you can get a super high-end gasoline car, and it does not have that response time. It just doesn't. It's not particularly a fast car. It does 0 to 60 in the time I'm going to put on the screen here, which isn't really that quick. The car tops out at 100 miles an hour, so it will not go over that speed. I think it could go faster, but it's just limited at that speed for some reason. Onto the little windy road here. It accelerates really well, like I said. It's kind of weird to explain because it's not fast, but it has instant acceleration. Like, there's no delay. So if you want to get going, it goes. It doesn't really handle all that amazingly. All the weight is in the front for the electric motor. A lot of Tesla models put the battery pack underneath the car, but in this, it's up front, so it's not really the best handling car. That being said, it's also not really designed for that. But it is really nice going down the hill here. I don't have to use any brakes. It's just putting energy back into the battery in reverse, because that's how the brakes work in this car until you really need to stop. Then it has real brakes as well. All right, so getting onto the on-ramp here. Give it the beans. Oh. Yeah, it actually does feel pretty quick. Once you're at a certain speed, it starts to die off with the amount of power that it puts down to the wheels. When you're going from 0 to 60, it feels a lot faster than when you're going from 60 to 80. So like I can floor it right now. Like it's there and it doesn't have to downshift or anything, so it's nice and quick. But anyway, aside from that, this has some really cool driver assist features. So I'm going to turn on the adaptive cruise control. It also has full steering capability. So I'm cruising at, I'm going to set it at 70 miles an hour. And if the car in front of me is going slower than 70 miles an hour, it will just decrease the speed. So right now we're going 65, a little bit less than 65. We're actually slowing down. You have to touch the wheel occasionally, but it steers for me. Like we're not going straight. I just have to let it know that I'm here. So now we're going to turn here. If you don't tap the wheel every so often, I'll actually show you what happens. It has a little warning, and then if I don't do it for even longer, it'll start beeping at me. But all you have to do is jiggle the wheel, and it'll take over again. It's not the most refined system ever, but it's pretty good, especially for a car at this price point. You don't even really have to drive it. I do think that it's better for road trips rather than day-to-day traffic. There's not a lot of traffic out today, but when you're on a road trip and you're out in the middle of the desert, like for us, if you're going to California, there's nothing out there for quite a while. So it's kind of nice to be able to just kind of sit here and relax while still paying attention to the road. You don't have to really be actively driving. But if there is traffic and you're speeding up and slowing down, it sometimes is better to just drive it. At least I find, because sometimes people will get into other lanes or get in your lane, and then your car wants to keep distance. So you'll just keep slowing down and slowing down and slowing down, and you're not really keeping up with traffic at that point. At least that's what I've noticed. I work at a Nissan dealership, so I drive Nissan cars with this technology a lot. And you can still take over at any moment. So right now I'm adding throttle so that I can get over and get off here at the freeway, where I can then continue this driving test. And then the system will turn off as soon as I hit the brake. So I hit the brake there to slow down. Everything shuts off just like cruise control in your car. In Arizona and some other states, if you have an electric vehicle, you can drive in the HOV carpool lane by yourself, no matter what the limit is. Here in Arizona, you have to have 2 people in your vehicle to use the HOV lane, and it's only from 6 to 9 a.m. and 3 to 7 p.m. Monday through Friday. So outside of those times and the weekends, it's just another lane. It still is a passing lane. Please don't camp in the left lane. Public service announcement. It backs up the whole freeway over time, and it's annoying. You can drive in the HOV lane no matter what in Arizona by yourself, and you get a specialty plate just for having an electric vehicle. And electric cars can be in the HOV lane no matter what in Arizona and many other states as well, if you have HOV lanes. I know some states don't have them, so you may have no idea what I'm talking about, but in the event that you don't, an HOV lane is a carpool lane essentially added to the freeway to incent people to carpool instead of driving separate vehicles to lower emissions. So since electric vehicles have 0 emissions, then their thinking is that it doesn't matter. Now, please note, 0 emissions when it's built. That doesn't apply to before it's built, but we won't get into that in this video. It cruises really well. Like, we're going kind of fast, actually. I don't really have to give much input. And then I can floor it here, and we just hit 90, and then I'll slow back down. I'm going to turn the self-driving back on. So I'm going to set self-driving at 80 miles an hour. And this truck just pulled into the HOV lane, so it's recognizing it on the screen here. I don't know if you can see it from there. I'm not going to grab it while I'm driving, but it's a really great system for this price point. It's not on the level of some of the higher end vehicles, but for sub $30,000 cars, I would say this is fine. So with that being said, this concludes the review of the 2020 Nissan Leaf. Thank you so much for watching, and you'll see me in the next one. Bye. An electric motor that produces 200, and if you have the key in your hand, you can pop open the charge port. You can pop open the charge port. Well, you're supposed to be able to do it.